Hello, bit of Sextile Killex here, welcome back to another World of Warcraft video, and today we are going to be looking over the Druid class changes coming in the pre-patch for Shadowlands. So we're looking at, of course, all the general changes which affect every class. We'll be looking at Balance, Feral, Guardian and Restoration, all for the times of when they start on screen now. So let's get into it. So let's start off with the general changes which affect all classes, and there is quite a lot for Druid, so let's get it going. So, travel forms, ground mounts are no longer mountable. The stag form ability has been changed to the mount form, and ground forms are mountable when using this ability. The ability is learnt from Tome of the Wild, the mount form, available in the Druid Order Hall, the Dream Grove, and is automatically learned by players who have already learned the Tome of the Wild's stag form prior to this update. The Lunar Wing appearance is mountable when selected for the flight form at the barbershop. Lunar Strike has been changed to Starfire, and Solar Wrath has been changed to Wrath. All Druids will be able to use the following abilities from the pre-patch. So, Ferocious Bite, which causes physical damage per combo point. It consumes up to 25 additional energy for 100% damage increase. This required cat form. Bark Skin, which is makes your skin tougher and reduces all damage by 20%, and preventing damage from dealing your spellcast, lasts 12 seconds, and is usable when stunned, frozen, incapacitated, feared, or asleep, and in all forms. Cyclone, this is no longer a PvP talent, and this is just to disorientate your enemies and make them stumble around for 6 seconds. That is available for all Druids now standard. Stampeding Roar, which it will change you into a bear form and unleashes a roar to increase your movement speed by 60% for 8 seconds to all friendlies within 15 yards. Iron Fur, which increases your armor for 7 seconds, only in bear form. And Wrath, which will hurl a ball of energy at your target, dealing nature damage. So next, Swipe is now capped at 5 targets, so it can't hit everybody. There's also a couple of new talents available, or adjustments. So a new talent which we have is Heart of the Wild, which has replaced Typhoon. The abilities associated with your chosen affinity are substantially empowered for 45 seconds on the 5-minute cooldown. Shifts you into the appropriate form upon cast, except in Restoration affinity. So the affinities are Restoration, which increases your healing spells by 30% and reduces the cost by 50%, the mana cost. For the Balance, which increases your spell damage by 30%, and your Star Surge is now an instant cast. Pretty insane. Feral Affinity, this ability increases all damage done by 30%, and when the critical strike hits, you grant an extra combo point. The Guardian Affinity will give your bear form an additional 20% stamina. Multiple uses of Iron Fur, which are allowed to overlap. And Frenzy Regeneration will be given 2 charges. So Mighty Bash will now stun targets for 4 seconds instead of 5, and has a 1-minute cooldown, was 50 seconds. So that one has been slightly nerfed. A few new abilities depending on which one you choose. So if you choose Restoration, you will have Ursol's Vortex. Balance, you will have Typhoon. Feral, you will have Mime. And Guardian, you will have Incapacitating Roar. PvP changes, one of them just mentioned. Cyclone is no longer a talent that will be learned by all Druids at level 48, and Heart of the Wild has been changed to Strength of the Wild. Okay, so let's move on to changes for Balance. Okay, so the changes for Balance Druids. We have New Mastery, Total Eclipse, which increases Solar Eclipse's nature damage by 11% and Lunar Eclipse arcane damage by 11%. Eclipse passive has now been redesigned to work with the Balance affinity. Casting 2 Starfires empowers the Wrath for 15 seconds. Casting 2 Wraths empowers Starfire for 15 seconds. And these eclipses occur in Alteration. Solar, Wrath cast time reduced by 15% and damage increased by 20%. And Lunar, Starfire cast time reduced by 50%. And the critical strike chance is increased by 20%. Star Surge now increases the damage bonus to Wrath and Starfire for the duration of the eclipse and costs 30 astral power instead of 40. Celestial Alignment maintains both eclipses and grants 10% haste for 20 seconds. Starfall will also be given a 40-yard radius around the caster and moves with the caster for the whole duration, avoiding targets that are not in combat, of course. Starfire damage has also been buffed significantly. Shooting Stars is no longer a talent and learned by all balanced druids at 49. And Shooting Stars now generates 3 astral power instead of 4. And the proc chance has been increased by 50%. Moonfire and Sunfire now generate 2 astral power instead of 3. Wrath now generates 6 astral power instead of 8. And Starfire now generates 8 instead of 12. A lot of reduction in astral power generation there. Just to keep it in line with everybody else, of course. Celestial Alignment and Incarnation. Chosen of a Loon talent is no longer on the global cooldown. Innovate Duration has been reduced to 10 seconds and is no longer on the global cooldown, so you can use it as often as that 10 seconds allows. The following talents have been adjusted, as well as one new talent, which is Solstice, which is replaced at Shooting Stars. During the first 6 seconds of every eclipse, Shooting Stars fall 300% more often, dealing that additional damage. Nature's Balance now generates 1 astral power every 2 seconds while in combat, and it used to generate 2 every 3 seconds. Soul of the Forest has been redesigned to increases Wrath's astral power generation by 50% and Starfall's damage to other enemies by 150%. Starlord now grants you 4% hast for 15 seconds, was free for 20. Incarnation, Chosen of a Loon now grants the benefits of Celestial Alignment and 10% critical strike. Stellar Drift now increases Starfall's duration by 2 seconds and damage by 15%. Fury of a Loon deals reduced damage on secondary targets, of course, same as the Frost Death Knight one if you saw that. Changes to PvP talents, Prickling Horns now causes entangling roots that deal damage every 3 seconds instead of damage upon removal. And the Moon and Stars radius is increased to 5%, was free. So, now we move on to Feral. So, changes to Feral. We have Survival Instinct now has 1 charge, it used to be 2. Rake deals 60% increased damage while stealthed, and Shred deals 60% as well while stealthed. Berserk has been redesigned, so you will go Berserk for 20 seconds, causing Rake and Shred to deal additional damage as if you were stealthed, and giving finishing moves 20% chance per combo point to refund a combo point. Berserk and Incarnation, King of the Jungle is no longer on the global cooldown, and the following talents have been adjusted, no new ones for Feral. Sabertooth now extends Rip by 1 second, used to be 4. Balance Affinity Moon King form no longer has a 90 second cooldown. Incarnation, King of the Jungle now grants the benefits of Berserk, reducing the casting cost of all cat form abilities by 20% and allows you to use Prowl once while in combat. Blood Talons have been redesigned. When you use 3 different combo points, generating abilities within 4 seconds, the damage of your next 2 rips or furious bites is increased by 30%, and Brutal Slash has now been capped at 5 players to go in line with all the other classes. Okay, that's it for Feral. Now on to Guardian. Okay, so the changes for Guardian, a few new abilities to start us off. We have Berserk, which will allow you to go Berserk for 15 seconds, decreasing the cooldown of Mangle, Thrash, Growl and Frenzy Regeneration by 50%, and the cost of Iron Fur by 50% on a 3-minute cooldown. If the new ability, and again, Infected Wounds, Mangle and Maul slow the target's movement speed by 50% for 12 seconds. Incapacitating Roar now shifts you into bear form. Berserk no longer has a global cooldown, so you can use that as often as the ability allows. And the following talents have been adjusted with 2 new ones. First one being Renewal, which replaces Ursol's Vortex, which instantly heals you for 30% with your maximum health. Another new talent is Tooth and Claw, which replaces Lunar Beam. The auto attacks have a 20% chance to empower Maul, stacking up to 2. Empowered Mauls deal 40% more damage and reduces the target's damage to you by 50% for 6 seconds. Incarnation, Guardian of Ursoc, has now been redesigned. An improved bear form grants you Berserk, causing Mangles to hit 3 targets and increase your maximum health by 30%. Pulverize now reduces the damage from the target by 20% for 10 seconds and has a 30-second cooldown. Was reducing all damage from targets by 9%, so that is a massive upgrade. Okay, moving on finally to Restoration. And finally, Restoration. Ironbark now has a 1.5 minute cooldown. Swift Mind cooldown is now 15 seconds instead of 25 and costs 11% mana, what's 14. Consumes an active regrowth, wild growth, rejuvenation or germination healing over time effect to instantly heal an enemy. Innovate duration has been reduced to 10 seconds and is no longer on the global cooldown. And we have a couple of new abilities, which is Newish, which has replaced Prosperity. which heals the target for 135% of your spell power, costs 50% mana, a 2-second cast time, and receives a triple bonus from Mastery Harmony. We have another new talent, which is Overgrowth, which is replacing Stonebark. No longer a PvP talent. Apply a Life Bloom Regeneration Wild Growth, Regrowth heal over time effect to an ally on a 1-minute cooldown. And Stonebark is no longer a talent and increases your healing bonus effect. Will be learned once again in Shadowlands. So PvP changes. Encroaching Vines have been redesigned and renamed High Winds. Cycle needs a tile like Reeling, reducing the damage by 25% for 4 seconds. Nourish has been completely removed, so you can't use it anymore. And Revitalise has been renamed to Reactive Resin. Okay, so if you've enjoyed, don't forget to push the like button, leave a comment down below. Of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Wish to follow me on Twitter. Link down below as always. And last thing to say, I've been X-Killer X. I'll see you in the next Warcraft video. Thanks for watching.